Hello, everybody. You're listening to Chaotic Dream and Sean, and we're going to be talking to you about The Walking Dead, the second episode of the second half of season 3.
I'm going to go ahead and get started out with my biggest frustration of the episode, which was Maggie acting just like Lori did in a way. And how I feel about that is that Maggie got all moody. She started, projecting her emotions and her feelings and her guilts and everything onto Glenn, who, even though Glenn was acting crazy and sort of overprotective, that's his role as the man in the relationship, and she just drove me nuts. That part, I wanted to reach through my television screen, grab her and shake her when she was just laying on that bed acting like a little moody sourpuss. It's like that was a extremely wrong time to act like that, especially when they're in the position where they don't know if the governor's coming to get them, Rick is acting a fool, and all this stuff is happening, and she's gonna go and act like her hormones are all going crazy. That drove me nuts. So that was my point of contention. What do you say, Sean?
I loved this episode from the get-go. It was one of my favorite episodes so far, simply because it gave the fans what they want. Rick basically going crazy, and Maggie, acting all sullen and kind of being pissed off at what's his name, Glenn, and it had a lot of drama in the beginning, which I really liked, and I was kind of wondering. It felt very sullen and very odd to begin with, but then the way it ended, I absolutely loved it because it brought everyone back together for a giant shootout, which I think is what the show needed. I think it's just nice to have them come together because we're seeing them fracture, we're seeing them distant from each other. So to see them all come together at the end, I thought was great, despite whoever's moody, whoever's going crazy, whoever's wandering off here and there. At the end of it, they come together, and that's what this season needed. I thought.
I agree with you. I think that catalyzing moment at the end where they were just all like, we have to drop our issues and work together or we're going to die, was a very needed element to the show. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
So I like your point. I totally get it. I like that a lot.
It felt as though the glue was coming undone between the group, and then even though basically they were being shot at, which doesn't really fill you with hope, but there was a nice bit of hope in there. Rick snapped out of it, and Daryl returned, so it was nice. It was nice.
Yes.
I really enjoyed it.
Let's get into the Merle and Daryl situation. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, one of the main things about that little scene with Daryl and Merle kind of together, firstly, I like that it built some character for them, definitely. There was that nice somber moment where Daryl blamed Merle for leaving him, and there was a bit of family history there that we got.
Yeah.
And I really like that. And more importantly, I think the show creators did a very, very smart thing in that they showed us other people, that those people who were being attacked.
Yes.
I thought that was great because it's felt so insular and so close for so long, and to see another group of people, and then to see Daryl's attitude towards Rick's group carry over to these outsiders that he doesn't even know. I thought that was great, and of course, it only emphasized that Merle is, a piece of work. So and
a piece of something.
Exactly, and seeing Daryl actually go against Merle, and you get that moment where it clicks that he isn't like Merle, and he is actually going to turn his back on him. I thought it was. I thought it was a real good moment and a pivotal scene to see that.
I agree. That was probably one of my favorite parts. Just the fact that it showed their differences in black and white, and Daryl could not deny. Daryl couldn't, talk himself into thinking that he was in the right place anymore because he saw who his brother is, and that all of the things his brother had gone through hadn't changed him at all.
Mm-hmm.
When it had changed Daryl, and it just showed him that they aren't who they used to be. So I really like that as well.
Yeah, definitely. Some good script writing there as
Yeah,
well.
and it also like it made my heart sort of catch in my throat. Just the fact that there was a baby involved, and it sort of made me think of that could have just as easily been Rick's group. Trying to travel somewhere and they've got a baby, basically a dinner bell for the zombies, summoning them over and starting just a terrible situation. So it was really just like, this is a scenario that could have easily happened to them. And I really like that sort of parallel going on there.
Yeah, it was really great to see the true humanity in Daryl, and to see the opposite in Merle. And it was nice to I thought it was a really well written scene. I thought it was great when it brought race into it, and of course Daryl delivers the "he's Korean" remark, which was great, because it's something that you don't expect him to say, and it just it hammers it home that Daryl's changed, and it gives him more than just a badass with a crossbow kind of sense about him. It gives him some depth.
Okay, so here's my final thought of the episode. When the little van just barrels into the prison during the shootout, and it's like it's just sitting there in the yard, and it's already gone through the fences, and everyone's just looking at it. I instantly yelled out, "Oh my gosh, it's Andrea, and she's gonna bust out like Pocahontas." I was like, that's the craziest thing ever. And then they one-upped me by having it actually be full of zombies, like a zombie bomb or a zombie Trojan horse or whatever the allegory you want to use there. I was like, oh my gosh, that was awesome. Even though it's, bad for the good guys, it was just, I thought that was a great element because I had no idea what to expect. I really did think Andrea was going to bust out and be like, stop it! Because, the last thing we saw of her was her looking for the governor and realizing he's gone out to do something. She has to realize this by now. So I thought that was a great element.
Well, here's my chance to be smug in that I called it. As soon as the van rolled up, I said, "That's filled with zombies," and I was surprised that, well, I wasn't surprised, but because obviously I said it, but I was pleasantly I was pleased to see that it did end up being zombies, and that I called it. Although I must admit, the prisoner with the mustache. The fact that they built him up and then ended him, I did not call that. that shocked me.
Yeah, I was like, holy cow! It was one of those moments where you're just like, what is happening?
Yeah, that was a really good moment.
Yeah, I agree. They scripted that very well. That was a great, just because it was almost like a lull. It was like, and we should have seen this is the calm before the storm, but I just wasn't expecting it to happen like that. Like maybe a shot over his head or something, but just right in between the eyes. You're dead.
Yeah, especially since Daryl left, and the prisoner with the mustache and Captain Shorthair, whatever her name is, were getting on. Although her hair's growing, if you haven't noticed, it's
last! Wow. That good. The ramen is making her hair grow.
They were getting on together, and I thought, oh, we may have a new romance going on.
Little triangle starting up, right?
Yeah, and his head exploded, and then that was that.
Yeah, no more of him. And I know this is not on the agenda, but how did that guy get into the tower? How did that guy get into their tower? I was like, how did he get up there? They just let that guy in like,
Yeah, I agree. I thought that was a little odd, although it was awesome to see Carl and Maggie just popping off shots, and I thought that was quite an interesting moment. But I wondered how he got there.
Here is my single prediction for the next episode, and that is that Rick is going to stop being crazy. That is the only thing that I can feel for sure should happen, because I feel like that combat pulled him out of his crazy moment, for maybe not for the entire while, but he's now back in survival mode. So he has to be more focused than he was before, because right now, even though he doesn't want any more responsibility, the ones that he is responsible for need him. So I think he's going to pull it together to help defend his group. So that's the only prediction I feel confident in making at this point.
I will actually, before we go any further, I just have a quick question.
Sure.
Do you watch the previews of the next episode that come on afterwards?
I do, and I hate them. 'Cause it's like they just make me mad because they look like one thing and then it's something completely else in the next episode. So I hate them, but yes, I watch them.
Yeah, I think Rick is going to pull it back a little bit and be a little less loony than he is right now. But there's a hint in the preview that Carl's going to suggest that he steps down as leader. And I think in the upcoming episode, I think there's going to, and not necessarily in the next episode, but it's going to build to Rick stepping down, the new group stepping up, especially the guy, him becoming the new leader.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think there's going to be a retaliatory attack on Woodbury and the governor.
Oh, definitely. There has to be. There has to be.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. One last thing that I just want to sort of sneak in here. Merle, do you think they are, since he has, in a sense, redeemed himself a little bit by helping save Rick, do you think they're going to be a little bit more open to letting him stay, or do you think they're going to make him sleep outside, or what do you think they're going to do with him?
With Merle, I think he is going to be brought into the group somewhat, but I will put $20 that he'll be dead by the end of the season.
Oh, definitely.
That's my. I think they're going to set us up. I think he's going to somewhat redeem himself, and then he'll probably go out with people liking him.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting journey to see how he's going to get anybody to like him. Even though he helped Rick, it was almost like he did it because his brother is there, and he has to be with somebody or he's going to die. So it's almost like it's not because he has any good motives. It's just survival kicking in, and he knows he has to do something or he's out with the rest of them. So very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
We shall see what happens in a couple more days. I'm so glad that it's only a couple more days because I am ready to see what they're going to throw at us next.
Agreed. Yep, I'm looking forward to it.
So, all right. That's awesome. We will come back together next week to talk about what happened. And hopefully we will have you all with us. If you have any questions or comments, make sure that you leave them below or in any appropriate spaces. You've been listening to Chaotic Dream and Sean. Thank you so much. Sean, say bye. Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye.